Okay, we're going to do a couple. I'm your host, BKP, Voice of Rural America. We're going to do a couple rapid fire segments here all together. Remember, let's go with this guy's picture. Remember NATO, Jens Stoltenberg, Secretary General of NATO. It might say CBS on the first beginning. This is the Secretary General of NATO, okay? Jens Stoltenberg. Anyhow, he is CBS. It says starts with CBS. And he is, remember the meeting just last week in NATO? Remember when NATO was obsolete and then it wasn't obsolete to Trump? And then Donald Trump goes to NATO and tells everybody to pay their fair share. And what he has done to our allies, and he's ruined 70 years. I remember the fake media last week. What he had done to 70 years of what we've done. He's destroyed with our allies over there. And then he is at Article 5. Then he didn't confirm Article 5, which means in NATO, Article 5 means if one's attacked, all's attacked. And then, God forbid, don't you remember, wasn't that guy, Montenegro. They put more emphasis on the guy from Montenegro. Remember, Montenegro just got in. They're the new people. But Trump pushed aside and said, hey, I'm here first. So they get this guy. Let's go to the video. I think I have the time set, okay? And we're going to find out just how bad Donald Trump has damaged Europe and NATO in this. Did I say all?
You didn't have time, so I was saying.
All right, go ahead, start it. I'm sorry. Okay.
Difficulties, but this isn't alone, the Paris Agreement departure, and there was also some confusion about the president's behavior at the NATO meeting. Do you believe that President Donald Trump believes in the mission of NATO?
Absolutely, partly because this is a treaty obligation by all allies, part of the Washington Treaty, the founding treaty of the alliance. Second, because he has, in meetings with me, publicly when I met him in the White House last month, stated that he is committed to NATO, and his security team has also stated that very clearly. But more important is that the US is now increasing their military presence in Europe for the first time since the end of the Cold War. Mm-hmm. And the President Trump, just suggested a 40% increase in funding for US military presence in Europe. We will have a new armored brigade, we will have more training, more equipment, more infrastructure. So actions speak louder than words, and we see now actions meaning increased US presence in Europe.
You mentioned words. Critics say the president didn't mention Article 5 during this NATO meeting, the idea that an attack on one is an attack on all. So is that overblown, people's fixation on his not mentioning that?
First of all, he has stated several times that he is committed to NATO, and there is no way you can be committed to NATO without being committed to Article 5, because NATO is about Article 5, collective defense, stand together, one for all for one. Second, it is in the...
Boy, what did that blow out of the water? Could we go every single day for how long, a week, and talk about what he did to our allies and how he's went over there and asked them to pay their fair share? Or could we have the Secretary General of NATO say, absolutely he's committed to NATO. Absolutely he's committed to Article 5. We have more presence in NATO right now, militarily, new brigades. He's asking them to spend more of their money, which is stronger. And who is this going to directly upset, strengthening NATO? Russia. Why, it couldn't upset Russia because Donald Trump's in Russia's pocket. So why would this guy go on and refute the narrative that the fake media, MSNBC, every one of them have lied about, hey, look what he's done to NATO. He's going against our allies. Merkel says, oh, Germany will have to go it alone. BS. It's not true, okay? Who is the pressure really on? Russia. Actions speak louder than words. Okay, let's go to let's go to the liberals have landed. Okay. That's Megyn Kelly, NBC. So yesterday, Chuck Todd, he's on there, and he's got to highlight that liberals have landed, all right? And we got NBC, Megyn Kelly there. She comes on yesterday to highlight her big, powerful debut interview on NBC. The liberal landed where she belonged, okay, with Vladimir Putin, right? And what does she get? The Vladimir Putin interview is almost as bad as when Rachel Maddow had Donald Trump's one-page tax return and found out that Donald Trump had paid more than several other really wealthy, famous people. Putin said, let's go to Putin, your lives must be boring. Now, I didn't watch the entire interview because I could care less. I didn't watch Megyn Kelly on Fox. I'm not going to watch her on NBC. I'm not going to watch her if she's on Sesame Street or the Nature Channel. Your lives must be boring. Putin said, you people must have the most boring lives in the world over there with this Russian scandal. Okay? Now, so don't I have a video? How many videos I have left over there, John? Just one. Okay, let's go to this video because Comey, remember, the Democrats are waiting for Comey to come down Mount Sinai with something. Give them something Thursday that will allow them to start impeachment hearings. I mean, please bring us something, Mr. Comey. Comey Moses is his name, okay? So let's go to that video, and I think I have some time segments on there.
This one you have playing also.
Do I have it all? Yeah. I got you. I remember it now. Go with this. This is Mark Warner from.
You have two hearings this week. Right. There's James Comey testifying on Thursday, but before you have a hearing on Wednesday, what's important about that hearing?
Well, we're going to have at the Wednesday hearing ODNI Director Coates and NSA head Admiral Rogers. The press has reported that both of those individuals had some level of pressure from the president to downplay the Russian investigation. I want to ask those individuals directly, did they have that kind of pressure? Can they report on those conversations they had with the president? Because it would be very concerning. And then obviously Thursday, we have former FBI Director Comey. And I think we've known since Watergate that rules of the road were, a president shouldn't intervene in an ongoing investigation, particularly the case if it involves individuals that are close to that president. And it would be unthinkable if the president actually did what was reported, asked FBI Director Comey to, in effect, back off of at least the investigation into General Flynn.
And is Comey going to be able to testify? There's been some talk the White House.
There's been some talk, but my hope is, and I believe this morning the White House has backed off from some call of executive privilege, since clearly the president himself has commented about this. And frankly, no matter what you thought about Jim Comey, the fact that the president disparaged him with comments. We have stayed bipartisan, and we're going to follow the facts. And every one of us, Democrat and Republican, realize this is one of the most important things we'll ever do. And wherever the facts lead, we're going to follow.
Will you be asking Treasury for any information about President Trump's ties to Russia in terms of financial ties?
If there are inappropriate indication of financial ties, we would look at those. We've not seen those to date. There's a lot of smoke. We have no smoking gun, but every week there's more smoke that appears, and we've got to sort through it.
Give me a sense of that larger smoke question. There is still no proof of collusion. So where really are we on the question of smoke versus fire?
We have a number of contacts that took place between individuals affiliated with the Trump campaign and the Russians prior to elections. And there are still some of those contacts that I don't think have been fully revealed. Then we have a series of contacts that took place between the election and the president's inaugural. Some of those were contacts that obviously didn't get disclosed originally, cost General Flynn his job, cost the Attorney General. He had to recuse himself from the investigation because these individuals didn't fully disclose. We have a series of contacts as well between Mr. Kushner, that some may have taken place before the election, but obviously others after the election. Then we have the series of events that took place since the president's been sworn in, where clearly Comey and potentially Rogers, Coates, and maybe others have been influenced by the president. So
we're going to go with the facts. We're going to go with the facts, people. The facts. There's no smoking gun. We haven't found a smoking gun. In fact, I feel liberals should be offended that he even referred to a gun. But there's no smoking gun, okay? We're going to stay with the facts. No smoking gun. And interesting. No smoking gun. We're going to stay with the facts. We've got nothing. We have no collusion at this time. We have really nothing at all. We have nothing at all other than just our hopes that Comey will show up. Do you have the notes? No, we don't have the notes. Are you hoping to get the notes? Well, we're going to try to get the notes. Okay? Let's go with, give me a picture out of this, the one that says CBS Susan Collins, because CBS made sure they had two. They went right from Mark Warner there from Virginia, Senator of Virginia, went to another Democrat, okay? So Susan Collins there is on the show, and her comment is, this is a complex investigation, and as you pull the threads, you find that it is connected to the whole lot of other threads in this tapestry that we are not yet seeing the whole of. You see, folks, they're not going to stop, okay? They're not going to stop until they keep pulling the thread to see if they can get the suit to unravel. They want that. They're not going to stop. I don't think I have anything. Meet the Press, Comey testimony. I think I have that. NBC, Comey to testify. That's NBC. I think it is. And that's pretty much it. And that's happening Thursday at 10 a.m. Thursday at 10 a.m. All right? So let me do this. Let me take a brief break. Did you find it there? Let me take a brief break and we'll come back and we're going to do one more segment, and it's called Look Who's Missing, okay? Somebody was missing on one of the Sunday shows, and I just want to jokingly bring that up, and then I want to go through my notes. And what did confefe, what did it mean? Comey testifies Thursday, 10 a.m., I understand, and you will not have to turn this network off. We are going to run that live, go straight from this show to the Comey testimony. So we will run it here on fyntv.com. We'll take a brief break, and when we come back, we got about 5 minutes. I want to do a couple more things. Take us a break.